Hey everyone, apologies for the delay there. We had some connection issues. Hopefully, you guys can hear me just fine. There's going to be no music this week because I need to figure that out. I'm trying to use a setup that works a bit better than in previous times. And Frank, actually, I'm not using Starlink anymore. I cancelled that about 6 months back. Totally nothing to do with the US election. But I'm on regular old normal. Actually, it is kind of connected via the satellite, but never mind. Anyway, so today we're going to give it a couple more minutes. We're already a little bit late anyway, so we'll wait till 35 and then we can get started. And think I think this week we're going to stick to a regular AMA. It's going to be a little bit different than our usual dev chats of the past because, I will explain all when we get started properly, but we will kick off into an AMA after I've given an update of what's been going on. So if you've not already done so, feel free to put questions in the chat. I will go back a certain while, but I can't promise I'm going to go all the way up. So if you are listening and you do have a question or you've seen a question come up today that you think is a good one, just please quote it into the main chat uh, as we are speaking now, because I think that's the best way that I will catch it. I can see one or two already, but we will get to it. So I think also it's about time we kick off. So it's been a busy week in terms of getting things sorted. I mean, it's been a slow week, I must admit. It turns out that administrating certain things is quite annoying, really. But we have now our trust in place. We have account access provided to the trust members. I think we are still waiting on giving Ultimo access to some of our Figma files. I think Fithos is also waiting on that as well, and Frank. But a lot of the media files have been shared. A lot of the accounts have been shared. Dedicated accounts have been created. So we are on the cusp, I think, of kicking this off. So um, I don't want to give the impression that the trust have been ready to go all week. They've not. They've been waiting on me to get things sorted, and I think we are just about there, literally now. So hopefully, over the next couple of weeks, you're going to start to see some of those teething problems over the last few months disappear. So quick point on staking, because I know that's probably the biggest thing. So right now we are finalizing the strategy. Ryan had a strategy in mind to deal with the staking problem, and the trust are voting on it, which is what we have decided is the way we're going to do things from now on. So we're kind of moving beyond the era of a single decision maker, and we're moving into an era where things are decided from the trust, and that strategy will be communicated once the vote is completed, and yeah, the people have had a chance to discuss it. So the point is that the issue has some solutions, and we're just deciding on that right now as a trust, which, by the way, is exactly the kind of thing that we want to be able to demonstrate to the community, is that those kind of decisions that have either been kicked down the road or have not been able to be answered properly because Ryan's been sick and I've been scratching around trying to find answers when it's been quite difficult to do so. Those kind of things are going to slowly fade away. So I feel like this is a really positive period of time right now for GMR where we're going to start putting these things into place. So I'm going to jump straight into the AMA because there's not been an awful lot of development work going on this last week. Myself and Bestmark. Bestmark is going to be my right-hand man in terms of development. He's going to be heading up operations. So we have a call coming up on Thursday. So I've messaged the game devs to try and get them to push their meeting to Friday. So hopefully I can get Mark on that as well, but we will see. But the point is we're going to have our first meeting together on Thursday. So I'm going to allow Mark to give me his feeling about how we might want to move forward. I'm going to give him my opinion too, and then we will um, talk through it on the next dev chat, which will be next Monday. So in terms of actual development, there's not much to bring you up to speed on today. So we're going to go straight into the AMA. So I will start with Niek's questions, which I believe is the first ones. I think they were the first one. So Battle League update is very important. Community wants to know what's happening on the last months, what's going on, what's new, any update pictures. It has to be a hot topic again in this chat, placed by devs and mods, talking about it by community, but it's quiet for months. Okay, and then he signs off that question with a suggestion that the release might not be soon. So, like I mentioned, we have a call with the game devs this week. It's due to happen on Wednesdays. By the way, we have 2 meetings per month, just to give you an idea. And we've had a bit of a kind of rocky couple of months in terms of actually getting on a call together because of my time out. But obviously, all that's changed. So you're going to see these updates filter through now much more clearly. I know Fithos has already expressed some ideas in terms of how to actually move forward with promoting the game, preparing for its release. And I think based on our first call with the game devs with Bestmark in the call, we will try to get Fithos on a call as well. Because my feeling is that when we do speak to the game devs, we're going to be very close to having a release ready product. And at that point, it's probably right that we bring Fithos in to kind of plan the marketing around it, because we don't just want to throw the game out there and let it fall flat. So we want to build a campaign around it. So I appreciate, Niek, that it's been slow, but as you can see now, we're moving into a period where you're going to see things move a bit more, dare I say, faster, but definitely in a better way. So yeah, so that's where we are with that. So Frank coming in next with 3 major points: Battle League progress, status and release, staking pools update, and Ryan involvement update. So I think actually I've addressed 2 of them. So already, so the Battle League, obviously we've just talked about. Staking is currently in the hands of the trust, just to get the final nods to go ahead with the strategy to refund the contract, and get that ready for you guys to withdraw. So hopefully that won't take much longer than a few days. Obviously, we need to allow the trust, because this is the first real decision as a trust that we're making. So it might not be pretty, and it might move a little bit slower. And I know there's people waiting for this, but it won't be too long. But it's important that we do it the right way, because if Ryan just goes ahead and starts funding the token right away, that kind of undermines the legitimacy of the trust. So I know you guys have been patient, but just I'm asking just to show a little bit more patience for a couple of days while we as a trust get that pushed through. Okay, in terms of Ryan's involvement, so he is part of the trust group. He is communicating his strategies via me right now, and hopefully we are going to see Ryan get much more involved in the coming weeks. But there's not been any major movement on that front since last week when we spoke. So obviously it's a serious condition. He needs to take that seriously and move through things in a pace that he has been advised to do so. However, the fact that we have a trust in place now means that we are in a much stronger position as we move forward. Okay, so Mist, how many hours per week do you work on the project? Timeline ETA on Streamlabs ETA, and do you still firmly believe in Web3 gaming? And what do you think will bring new hype and attention? So I think, first of all, I think Web3 gaming, I think Web3 and gaming is actually probably one of the few legitimate use cases for Web3 as a whole, right? So I'm not just talking about crypto here or anything like that. I'm talking about Web3. I think the way that we're able to bridge the gap between blockchain and games is a unique proposition, really, when it comes to GMR. So it's a shame that it's taken longer than we hoped. I mean, game development is not quick anyway, I guess. Um, but once the game is out, I think it will really demonstrate what sets us apart as a project, and this is what I believe in. So owning your own owning your own data for me is the future of pretty much society, in my opinion. Like, if you are in the European Union right now, you enjoy certain privileges when it comes to your data. So the right to be forgotten, freedom of information, and I guess every region and district of the planet offers similar things or variations of it. But in Europe, they're trying to take that to a step further. Sometimes they go too far, of course. But the point is that all it demonstrates is that there's a growing desire to own your own data, because people recognize that, data is the new gold, right? Or data is the new oil, whichever you want to put it. And I think when it comes to gaming, I don't think it's any different. And in fact, I think that it's worth more to gamers than, I don't know, some post you put on Twitter 3 years ago. Like, I don't particularly care about that, but I do care about my progress in a game. I do care about what journey I took my character on. So I think when it comes to Web3 and having an immutable uh, ledger of activity and ownership and all these things, because it's not just ownership, it's activity as well. So these things to me fit perfect for gaming. So yes, of course, I still believe in Web3 gaming, and yes, I think in terms of like what will bring the next hype and attention, I don't know whether hype is ever going to be the same as what it was, say, in 2021 or 2017. I think what we're seeing now in the industry is a maturing of the technology. So we are starting to see what kind of stuff is going to stick. So during these hype cycles, a lot of stuff gets thrown at the wall, and it's just with a hope to see what sticks. And I think we're starting to see that now. So, like, if you step outside of gaming for a moment, you're seeing the growth of stable coins is really forging the path in terms of like what future finance is going to look like. And there is a place, in my opinion, for tokens like Gamer. I just don't know whether it's on I don't think Gamer's going to be part of any kind of BlackRock fund or anything like that. But I do think that the Gamer token and tokens like this that exist in things like gaming that do have a really strong use case for tokenization. I think that's where we find our future, right? And obviously that's what we're building towards. So in terms of new hype, I think now we've just got to deliver the promises, because I think they're good enough. I think a social platform, a social gaming platform that offers the ability to power games from the blockchain, and we are the kind of conduit between all that. We're like at the center, the nexus of that. Like, it's super important now that we demonstrate this with the game. So we need to concentrate on getting that out there, and that is what's going to bring the new attention, if you like. We have 2 games, if you like, already deployed. So we've got Battle Elite Infected. You can download that and play that on on Android, on Play Store right now. But that is that is definitely a gateway game, and that's designed to not interact with the blockchain whatsoever, but just to get people into the ecosystem, bring awareness. Then we have Elite Clicker. Now, Elite Clicker is a kind of bit of an evolution in terms of bringing that message of gamer to people who play the game, because you are connected to your Gamer Center account. You are earning shards, which are represented on the Gamer Center account. And there are things you can do with those shards on the Gamer Center account. Not much. You can buy one emoji right now, but the point is that the MVP, the minimum viable product, is there, and it shows this bridge between the Gamer Center, on-chain data, and a game. And Battle Leap's just going to take that to a new level. So that's the hype, if you like. That's the attention grabber. Now, in terms of timeline and Streamlabs, those things kind of got put on the back burner when I was experiencing burnout. Now, we've talked about this at length, obviously, but work begins now. We've basically got to the point where we've basically restructured the leadership of Gamer to create a trust where there's not just one decision maker anymore, or when that decision maker is not able to put in the time that is required due to sickness, or in my case, having a burnout experience. Like, this trust is obviously going to protect the project from that. So on Thursday, hopefully, it might be Friday. We're just waiting for confirmation from Mark. But on Thursday, me and Mark have our first call where we're going to actually start outlining how development's going to work, how we're going to communicate these development cycles to you guys, the input that you guys can have on development. The idea that we had in the past to do this together on the calls wasn't a bad idea, but we definitely will be putting everything up for review now. Me and Mark will be getting to the bottom of this, and then we can decide then in terms of timelines and Streamlabs and any other development, how that's going to work. In terms of hours per week, I volunteer my time to the project completely. It's like, obviously, I had a bit of an issue this last month with the burnout, which we've mentioned many times already on this call. And this last week, I've been focusing on facilitating the trust. But now, yeah, back to business as usual. So yeah, so that's that. And Phoenix is just asking for a recap about Battle Leap. I will post something tomorrow on Reddit to talk about some of the questions, and I think Frank will likely post a recording actually as well, as he's been doing doing a good job at doing so in the last few weeks. But just to come back to that, we're looking to rearrange the call for this week to Friday, so that I can hopefully get Mark on it. If not, then he might have to join the next one. Hopefully we can reschedule one for next week as well to get Mark on it. But essentially, what was discussed today was basically that we generally have 2 meetings per month, but obviously this has experienced some disruption with the issues I was having. We do a call on Wednesday, but I'm going to try and reschedule it for Friday. Hopefully, if not, we will schedule an additional call for next week to get Mark on that, so that he can get some kind of eyes on what's happening with the game. And then as soon as they give us the nod that we've got a good enough solid time frame in terms of delivery of the product, then we're going to get Fithos on a call with them, and we can start building a release plan. We're not going to just push the game out once it's ready. We're going to allow Fithos to do his job and actually build a campaign around it. So that's where we were with the game. Okay, so on the Psyche, what's on my to-do list this week development-wise? Absolutely nothing right now. I am going to wait until I've had the opportunity to speak to Mark. I've kind of been a glorified admin worker this last week, and I'm going to take a couple of days over the next few days just assisting the trust members with the various accounts, and then work starts once me and Mark get to dig down into the nitty-gritty of what we're actually going to do and how and organize this. Obviously, there is still some stuff to do on that side, but yeah, I'm enjoying the few hours rest that I'm getting actually. All right, guys, is there any more questions? We still have time. I'm happy to go all the way till 0:00. So if there are any questions that I've missed that have been posted in the chat throughout the day, please feel free to just quote them again. And if you've got any more follow-up questions, please do. And if not, the floor is open for anyone who wants to talk. Sorry, one moment. We have one more here. I'd like to know when the updated timeline will be available, as it's very important. Don't put those posts in X because it doesn't look good. Right, so the posts in X, I will disable them as we speak because I too agree that it doesn't look good. So let me pause there now. And in terms of the timeline, I think that was already discussed. Hold on, just let me log into my server here. In terms of the timeline, as I mentioned a moment ago, everything got paused during my burnout issue, and as a result, so I've just disabled that now. The post will no longer come every day, and as a result, we are going to take that opportunity, me and Mark, to come up with a strategy or continue the strategy. I don't know, but I want to give Mark an opportunity to see into the inner guts of how we build stuff, and then we can come up with something. So one more question here: will we get information after the meeting with the game devs, or do we have to wait until next Monday? So actually, all of these things, all of this in terms of like communication, this is something that we're just going to need a little bit more patience from you guys. I know you've shown tons, so I'm not minimizing the commitment you guys have put in. I know you've been desperately starved of information, but I'm just going to ask just a little bit longer, a little bit more patience, because there's a lot of stuff that we need to decide on as a trust. So we've got a community lead now with Ultimo. We've got a communications lead with Frank, and we've got a marketing lead with Fithos. This holy trinity are going to be the people who are going to craft the process of how we actually communicate these updates. So maybe in the next few weeks, as people find their legs, I will still communicate updates on a Monday. I mean, obviously, I'm still going to talk about stuff anyway, so it's not like I'm going to hide stuff. But I will definitely be communicating stuff anyway. But the point is that this holy trinity of the marketing, communications, and community leads, they will be creating a pipeline of communication. So I don't know how that's going to look yet, and we need to just allow this process to be formed with those new trust members. But I imagine that there will be key decision makers involved in calls and meetings. So I will be there on the call with the game devs, of course, and either depending on the kind of stuff that we expect to be on the agenda of those calls, if it is in terms of delivery, then maybe we'll have Fithos on those calls, and then Fithos and Frank will work together on communications. It sounds convoluted. It's not. It's just literally just a, hey, Mark just told me this. What do you think? And then they'll decide how to put that out there. But this is a very long way of saying that the communication strategy is in development again, obviously, with those people put in position. So until they've put that strategy in place, unfortunately, you're going to have to suffer with me on a Monday giving you those information. Okay, all right, so Mist, they can't really work without a timeline to build a community. Not sure I understand the question in that. So could you clarify that, please? When you say timeline to build, to build a community, are you referring to like they need to know deadlines or something? Okay, whilst we wait for Mist to clarify, if somebody wants to timeline from the set, okay, again, do you mean like a timeline for when a feature will be pushed to the Gamer Center, or do you mean the actual new timelines on the Gamer Center? Yeah, I agree. So the timeline feature is something that is partway baked, and once I've had a chance to sit down with Mike and plan our development strategy, we will communicate what's going to happen with it. I imagine that will be definitely a priority, because ultimately the priorities probably haven't changed much since we last decided what we wanted to do. But again, we put a trust in place with the best intentions. We think it's the right way forward. and we've got to just over the next few weeks allow people to feel their way into their role. And it might seem difficult now and time consuming now, but once it's working, I promise you things will move in a much smoother way. I mean, look, the reality is since Ryan fell sick, you had months where communication was degraded to a point of zero, and then I basically stepped in to try to fill that void, and it worked to a certain degree, but I'm not a CEO. Unfortunately, I'm a software engineer, so it was crap, to be honest, in terms of communication. So you guys have suffered now for the best part of 8 months, 9 months, 10 months. So I feel the pressure from you guys in terms of the tension and how much you are wanting to just see the movement of information speed up. So I know it sucks when I'm now turning around and saying we have to allow the trust to find their way, but the reality is once we are working in the way that we know we can, then I promise you it will be like night and day versus what's been and what's to come. All right. So does anybody want to ask a question vocally? Please feel free. We'll give it another couple of minutes. All right. So hopefully this was a little bit more insightful in terms of conversation versus the last couple of times where we've mostly been apologizing for things and talking about what the trust will do. So hopefully today's session was a little bit more insightful, offered some more thoughts on the actual project, and hopefully we're going to see things moving a lot better as we move forward. I can see Niek is typing, and there's a question from Psyche, so I'll take those questions, and then I think we'll probably draw to a close. So, Battlely, my feeling is that they can probably get a product ready this year, but whether you will see it this year is a different story. And what I mean is, like I said a moment ago, we're not just going to push out a product as soon as it's ready. We need to allow Fithos and Frank to do their work. So Fithos will develop a whole release campaign around the game, and Frank will assist him with that, and we'll be building a whole communication strategy because we don't want this to fall flat on its face. So if the question is, will they have finished Battle League this year? Sorry, Fithos. My feeling is that yes, they will probably have finished this year. I don't see too many delays on the horizon, but whether you will see it officially released this year is a separate matter. Now, just to quickly clarify, Fithos and Frank, the pressure isn't solely on you guys. That's the point of the trust, and obviously, I am also going to be part of that. But you guys will be driving it because that's what we want to have. We want to have people driving things because we've kind of missed out on that over the last few weeks and months. Okay. Yeah. Hey, you have access to all the assets now. I'm sure it can do some wonderful stuff with that. So let's see. All right. Really, really appreciate you guys. Sorry if I've kind of like blundered my way through this, but there's been a lot of stuff to get through. And from next week, hopefully we'll have some stuff to talk about on the development side. So until then, please take it easy, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you.